Hi, my name is Korey. I've been attending Saylorville for about the last 10 years. I was raised in a Christian home, and one where God's name was lifted up and Christ was made much of. And I often, as I think back on my childhood, I wonder why God had me in such an ideal setting. I mean, I recognize that a lot of people have not been given that incredible opportunity, and so for that I'm very grateful. When I was a young boy, I came to the point where I recognized that I couldn't be a good enough person or kid to get to heaven. And that was really the beginning of really a lifelong experience of growing in the Lord. And as a 4-year-old boy, I trusted in Christ and asked Him to forgive me of my sins. Now, at that point, I believe my eternal destiny was changed. But I would also say I did not really recognize what I was truly being saved from, to the degree that my understanding of sin at that point as a 4-year-old kid was really disobeying mom and dad, and that was pretty much it. As I have grown up, and especially in my adult years, I would say the gospel has become more precious to me in several ways. One is that I continue to understand more and more the depth and sin in my own heart. And secondly, I would say having kids, and particularly 4 daughters, has given me such greater perspective on the love of God for me. Totally recognizing I am completely and absolutely undeserving of His gift. I have, over the years, developed a passion for sports-related ministry. I would say that I feel like my gifts are sort of fit into a niche, so to speak, a little bit different than a lot of people. For one, I grew up on a farm and was sort of a city kid growing up on a farm, in the sense that I could really take or leave farming. It just, my dad was a farmer. My brothers to this day are really into that sort of thing, and it just wasn't me. And I loved athletics. Didn't mean I was, I had my limits for sure, but I just loved sports from a very early age. Saturdays would come, they would go hunting and fishing and do whatever they would do, and I would go in and watch college football. It's just the way it was. As I got into my adult years, I was really searching for a way that I could really serve the Lord in something that I really enjoyed doing. And 2 events I would point to that really directed me and pushed me in the way that in the vein of ministry that I'm in today. One was at a church setting, in a teaching setting. The teacher mentioned that we should all find our forum. What's your forum? What's the way that you can make much of God and just lift Him up in everyday life? The second one was one of our church planners who was speaking about wanting to see people come to know the Lord and have their lives be changed, and he was fearful of speaking out for God. And he said that his first step was not a heroic step. His first step was just getting involved in the process. And those 2 events were very encouraging to me, those 2 both in different ways. And I came to the conclusion, I love sports. God has given me a love for it, a love for athletics and competition in a good-natured way. And that's something I can use for Him. There's nowhere I'm more at home and feel more comfortable than on the basketball court. For probably the past 4 or 5 years, I've been involved in leading the church basketball league that we have with Saylorville and a few other churches. And I tell people, and even our first week of the league this year, I told all the guys that played, I said, look, we love basketball, and we love our league. We want to run a good league. We want to have a really just a great league, but we're about a lot more than that. And we want to make much of Jesus and what He has done for us. There is no reason that we need to think inside the box here. We are so unique. We're so different. I know for sure I'm very different for most other people I know, and God has created us for a purpose. And if He's created us for a purpose, and if we really believe that, and you believe that He wants to use you, then I would encourage you to start thinking outside the box. How can God take that interest that you may be drawn to use in a very selfish and very dishonoring way to God? How can you use that for Him? And I would implore you to lift that up before the Lord and just ask Him and plead with Him to show you how you can use that interest, that gift, to lift His name up and make Him great.